The three most important things about the golf swing have to do with controlling the golf ball. And there we run right into a law of the universe that says that if the ball, in order to control the ball, you have to control whatever moves the ball. Well, I'm going to move it with a golf club, which simply means I've got to learn how to control the shaft of the club, the face of the club, and the head of the golf club. Now, if I can control these three elements, the law says that I can also control the ball. All right, how do we go about doing that anyway? Where would we start to learn to do that? Because what it really amounts to is aiming the club face at the target, getting your body aligned with the line the ball is on, with your stance line, your proper body position, which we will discuss later, and the club shaft is either going to be parallel to the line the ball is on, or one end of the golf club, the end that's closest to the ground, will point at that line, which simply looks like there it is parallel, here it is pointing at it. And as you come through the golf ball, you must be in this particular alignment so that you can then undo what you did as you started through the ball. It's a lot easier to do than it is to talk about it. So right now I'll give you a very brief description of the most important thing, which has to do with your body proper alignment. That starts with basically the chin off the chest, the legs under the hips. See, most people stand too wide or too narrow. The right position is get the legs under the hip. Since we are going to be rotating in this direction, get the left toe turned about 20 degrees in that direction so that you can flow through it. Your weight can continue to move without any effort. The right toe should be either square to this line, pointing at it, if you are going to hit short golf shots, but on a full swing where you want a big hip turn, a big shoulder turn, the right toe should be turned about 5 degrees to the right. Now we'll stand erect with the chin off the chest, bow from the waist, keeping the legs straight. It's important to keep the legs straight at this point because that is how you get a straight line down your back. So you must have a straight line down the back so that your shoulders can revolve around that straight line. It's extremely important because that'll keep your head where it should be, rotating on the axis of the spine. Pretty easy to do, actually. Chin off the chest, bow from the waist, and now keeping the legs straight. And now sit a bit. Just sit a bit where it's comfortable. You'll find your arms will hang vertically from your shoulders in a very comfortable position to be in to start your golf swing. Now, the single most important part of the entire golf swing is what does the body do? There seems to be an awful lot of contradiction and controversy over what, in fact, constitutes a good pivot. The pivot, as we know, is a revolving motion of the body made through the entire golf swing while you're sustaining balance and being able to do it with great speed and still hold on to your balance. The least understood is what does the head do? And so I'm going to show you this from several different positions so there will not be any confusion in your mind, and then I'll show you a very simple drill that you can practice on your own and develop this single most important feature of the golf swing, and that is called a pivot. Now you recall the three-point set where we had the balls of the feet, the knees in one straight line, and the inside of the upper arm as an extension of that line. Extremely important that you get that initial balance. Now, to start your initial golf swing, if we understand what is your initial balance, the weight is evenly distributed if your head is in the center of your shoulders and your posture is balanced, as you can see. However, your hands then would be together, you see, and that's not the way you hold the golf club. We've got to hold it with the right hand lower and still keep a little bend in the right elbow. Now, in doing that, you can see how my right shoulder would be dipping down a bit, and now my head is over my right leg. The right knee is kicked in a bit. Now, the thing to understand here is that your head weighs about 18 pounds, we say 18 pounds, and it's situated over your right knee, in essence. And now with the hands in what we call an impact condition, you can see that there is going to be more weight behind the ball, technically, in the very beginning of the golf swing. Now, the first motion here is to withdraw the right hip. Withdraw the right hip. That is, pull the right hip back as far as you can pull it while you keep your right knee flexed. This is extremely important to maintain the flex of the right knee. This is no different than winding up to throw a ball. No different than that. As a matter of fact, that is all there is to that. Now, as the downswing starts, the thing to remember here is if your hands are at shoulder level or below, the left hip and both forearms pull the forearms pull the club down while the left hip immediately pulls behind you to clear the weight. As you go through the ball by driving your right arm right straight to a long right arm, you must allow your eyes to follow the ball. If the ball stuck to the face of the golf club and you allowed your eyes to follow it, your head would rotate to the left to follow the ball. Now this 18-pound mass can move over your left leg, allowing you to straighten your right arm down the line, down the line. And now, as you can see, my whole body is facing the target, my waist, my chest, everything about me, 100% of my weight has moved forward toward the target. Those who teach to keep the head behind the ball is probably one of the most damaging things that can be taught in golf. The head must move forward and up over the left leg in order to shift the weight properly. Technically, the only weight that was shifted was the 18-pound ball, which is your head, along with your whole right side extending through the shot. Extremely important to learn that. And now for the good news, the simplicity of how to teach it to yourself. Merely get the three-point set that we've already discussed, take the golf club and hook it behind your arms. It's like so. Get the three-point set, and now tilt just a bit. Withdraw the right hip as far as it'll go. Notice how big your right shoulder turn is. One of the biggest keys in the golf swing is getting that shoulder turn. You don't have to try to turn it. It will turn with the rotation of the hip, like that. Now, since we don't have any arms to start the downswing, lower your right shoulder. When you lower your right shoulder, watch how your left hip slides laterally toward the target. Without you attempting to do anything to it, the right shoulder pushing down will move your hip laterally. Now, imagine you have hit the ball. Allow your eyes to follow the ball. Pull your left hip behind you, straighten up, keep your right shoulder down, and this is what you will look like. It is that easy. It is that easy, my friends. If you will just teach yourself to do that, you've got 90% of the golf swing right there at home. Just do that in the mirror, and I guarantee you, you'll be delightfully surprised how you'll change the directory of the ball, the trajectory, the distance. After all, it is 90%. Thank you. I'd like to just demonstrate briefly something that you probably did as children that constituted a perfect pivot, only you didn't know it until somebody started to give you instructions. But if you were just a child on a playground and you had picked up a ball and you were going to pitch it over to a friend of yours, see, the thing you would do is just turn out of the way and your arm would automatically cock up, the right wrist would bend back automatically, and as you threw the ball, you would watch where it went. See? In which case, look how you would have finished. See, it's a perfect pivot without even trying. On the other hand, if you keep your head down, hold your head back, and don't look up, look how the weight was forced to stop here. The left hip stopped, the shoulder stopped, everything stopped, but the hands broke, you see. And who knows where that went. So it's such a simple little drill. Just put the stick behind you. It's no different than, here's another motion, a right forearm underhand slap. It's that simple. All right.